Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our evening edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. Today has been the day of David. I don't know how else to describe it. David is not even on the block, and yet it feels like David is doing the most for better and often for worse.
It's been a weird day for David.
There's so much to talk about here, including David somehow maybe putting a rift between Janelle and Bayley and Davon, and then everything that was going on with David. We got to just get into all this because this is going to drive me nuts with this guy.
Yeah, there's so much happening with him.
All right, before we dive into it, though, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and yeah, support us further. Check those links to the store and also our Patreon. Our first live chat over there is happening on Sunday if you want to get in on that.
So, David, here we go.
Oh, boy. All right, so this is the thing with David. Entering this season, I know we can all say, did David deserve to be on this season or not? I don't want to get into that discussion. He's there. But I thought he had some skill. I thought he was perceptive. He might occasionally still be, but he completely lacks any ability to try to have conversations with people that he drives me crazy with how he refuses to give anyone, Janelle and Kayser especially, an inch on anything.
He's being really hard on them, which, I get that one of them is leaving, but one of them is not, David. Yeah. Like, you're going to end up in this situation where the other one is still in the house. And maybe David feels really confident that then the next person, if Janelle goes, Kayser's going to go right away. But that might not happen. And if something, why put a target on yourself? It almost feels like David just feels that he is very insulated and very secure because of his relationship with Tyler. And I don't think he's as secure as he thinks he is. And the more he's sort of pissing everybody off, it's just going to build and build and build. I think David is running himself out of the game.
It's so bizarre. It begins with Janelle trying to campaign to him, and she makes an offer where she's gonna try to protect him. She offers this up for a few weeks. She tries to offer him a pretty decent deal. And what does he do in response to this?
Yeah, she even offered, if she played for Vito and he was on the block, that she would take him off, on top of like 3 weeks of safety, as much as she can do for him.
And he's just like, yeah, I just don't trust you. It's, David.
Just take the deal, man. Just take the deal. You don't have to actually do anything with that. Yeah. And then if she stays, you have the deal.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's sort of thinking, okay, if I go this hard in this one direction, no one will suspect anything because everyone will just know that I hate Janelle because that's what Janelle's going to spread around.
The only thing I can think of that David is actually doing, and I may be reading this wrong, but maybe David is really trying to put that line up between him and Kayser and Janelle so that the people he is working with understand that the line is drawn and he's not going over it. Because we have seen Davon and Bayley sort of a little bit over here, a little bit over here, and it hasn't been working out for them. I still think that David is very perceptive. He's just not very good at sort of executing what he's seeing into conversations and so forth. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe this is where his head is at. He's just like, I want Tyler and everyone to know that I am with them and I'm not with these guys.
It might very well be. I want to believe that there is some sort of logical explanation for what he is doing, because Conversation 2, David and Kayser, where just the second-hand frustration of watching Kayser in this conversation, because David is just so patronizing in a lot of this, where it is sort of like David is going at him and basically being like, I don't know if I can trust you because you're associated with some of these other people. And then David kind of comes back at him and is like, well, that would be sort of like Davon says something that I really, really don't like, and then I blame you for it. Like, what is the correlation there just doesn't add up.
Yeah, I mean, Kayser and Janelle are not the same person. Just because they're friends or they're working together or whatever it is, Janelle can think something or do something, and Kayser isn't part of that. That happens all the time where you have people in your life and they're just not exactly the same as you. And David just isn't really taking that in the way that he should be.
There's also David's new favorite line when he's telling somebody something that he's not really working with is, "You don't really have any credit with me." David, you're not like a debt collector or something. You're not, what's his name, Scott from Big Brother Over the Top. You do not get to run around and talk about credit. You have no credit. You were evicted banished the very first night.
Yeah, it's weird. It again feels like he is just relying so heavily on what he has with Tyler and knowing that Tyler is connected to other people that are probably going to keep him safe. But this isn't going to help David. There's no reason to be quite this sharp with Kayser. Like, Kayser is probably staying. And if Kayser wins next, you're in trouble.
My favorite unintentionally hilarious moment was at the end of this conversation. Kayser's trying to downplay his ability in competitions, and this is after Kayser has tried to show as an example to David of how he understands being screwed over in the game. He brings up what happened to him, the 13-hour competition, getting screwed up. It's like, I know what it's like, David. I understand not wanting to trust him. But then David has the nerve to like throw this back around, and he's like, "Yeah, Kayser, I know you're a competition beast, really. You stood up there for 13. It's like, David, this was not a challenge of doing pull-ups. This was basically you're just standing there. It's not really an athletic feat."
I know. Oh, this conversation was so painful. And I mean, I get why Kayser's going around trying to talk to people, but like, he just needs to leave that one alone. Like, it just leave it alone.
Conversation 3, because we're not over with yet. David then decides later tonight that he is going to try, I don't know if he's like intentionally thinking, okay, I'm going to try to throw some sort of wedge in here with Janelle on one side and then Bayley and Davon over on the other side. But ultimately, he starts spreading this information around to Bayley and to other people that, ultimately, it's just, all of this is confusing trying to get the details together of it. But basically what has happened here is David is spreading around some misinformation about supposedly whether or not Davon was okay with him going and Nicole Anthony staying. That's the easiest way I could summarize it because I'm getting tripped over my words here. But ultimately what is going on is...
And it's Janelle's fault.
Yeah. It's all Janelle's fault. And David, in passing this sort of information along to Bayley and Davon, now Bayley is starting to kind of have more distrust. And why are you guys believing David over Janelle?
Yeah, it's really weird, especially for Bayley, because Bayley has a pretty good relationship with Janelle. She knows her fairly well now from their short time in the house. They've spent a lot of time together, and they like each other a lot. There's been less time spent with David. David is not really working with them at all, and has made it kind of clear to Davon that he's not really working with them at all. So why Bayley would believe this, I'm not really sure. She needs to really just have that talk with Janelle to find out what is going on, because even Janelle is now starting to realize how badly Nicole Anthony messed up their game, like so badly that Janelle's like, I won't ever forgive her for this. Like, it is not good.
It's really not good. And the thing with David, when it comes to sort of, throwing Janelle under the bus when it comes to Bayley and Davon, like, I don't even know for sure. I don't know if he's full on lying or he's just sort of twisting information to make it seem like Janelle is spreading information around about David. It's a weird sort of situation here. Because also, Janelle's pretty much locked in to be evicted. Like, why you gotta sort of
pile on her?
Yeah, why are you really working hard to try to turn Bayley against her at this point?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of work for something that is pretty locked down. I mean, Janelle has had a lot of conversations to try to save herself, and none of them are working out that well. And David's got to know that.
My other second most unintentionally hilarious David moment of the day. I forgot this. We'll go back to Kayser and David for a minute. The end of this conversation, Kayser's just like, I really hope we can find a way to sort of patch up this relationship, man. And David's just like already walking to the door and he's just like leaving. It's like there's no like reconciliation. It just felt like Kayser was just shouting at a brick wall for like 30 minutes. I felt so bad. I am giving you a socially distanced hug, Kayser.
It is so weird. I want to believe that what David is doing is he's just trying to distance himself, because otherwise he's just kind of acting like a jerk. He really doesn't need to be that hard on them. They're already on the block. Janelle's already going home. Kayser hasn't done anything. You got to just kind of let that go.
Maybe this will all work out for David somehow, and he'll have more trust. I don't know. His gameplay is too bizarre. It's beyond comprehension at this point.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I can think of is that because Bayley and Davon have played a little bit of both sides, David just wanted to be clear. I'm not working with you guys. I don't care who stays. Whoever stays, I'm still not working with you. And that's that.
We could go another 30 minutes on David, but I know we've already gone 10 minutes without even talking about Janelle trying to use her wedding band as collateral in a conversation with Cody to try to get there's two people who are probably very upset about this. Cody and probably Janelle's husband, who is sitting at home and just being like, what are you doing?
I know. Well, she's desperate. I'm sure he understands.
Yeah. I wonder if they had a conversation. By the way, I may need to temporarily give my wedding band to somebody in the house. I feel bad for Janelle in a way, because she really is trying very, very hard.
Is.
She's just talking to a brick wall where people they're appeasing her, but Cody, by the way, Cody is Mr. Party Pooper on the feeds, where he's basically already said that he wants to be a peacemaker in situations. He wants to deprive us of drama. Why are we cheering for Cody to be in the house if he wants to deprive us of drama?
Who is cheering for Cody?
There are Cody fans. I have seen them in the comments, and he seems like a nice enough person.
He does. I joke.
I know, but I'm still annoyed at him in the game. Let's make this very, very clear.
Cody is playing a good game by doing the opposite of what you want. I know you want the drama.
Yes.
But this is the right thing for Cody to continue to do. Cody is going to go far in this game if he keeps kind of being the peacemaker. Because what David is doing is not going to keep him in the game. You can't do that stuff.
There's the big brother brain and there's the big brother heart. The big brother brain is people like Derek and Cody who play a pretty good game. Mm-hmm. My big brother heart is with people like Devin who just destroy the house and cause, or even just like Dr. Will. I was watching Dr. Will clips earlier. It made me so mad that nobody plays like Dr. Will anymore.
No, they don't. But we do have Memphis, and he's still kind of a wild card here.
Memphis and Christmas were kind of talking maybe they want to keep Kayser around a little while.
And I get that, especially for Memphis. He doesn't have any beef with Kayser. Kayser isn't coming after Memphis. Kayser is a good person for Memphis to keep around. Christmas, on the other hand, I don't know why she wants to keep him around or if she really cares or not. I mean, it's hard to know with Christmas because she is working with Tyler, but I'm not 100% sure who she would decide to go after. It would really kind of depend on where things are in the house. If she found out about that conversation earlier with Danny and Nicole they're ready to now turn on Christmas going to turn on them.
And Christmas is also pretty good sometimes at telling people what they want to hear, and I also think there's kind of a strategy of let's just tell Memphis what he wants to hear. Yeah. And if Memphis brings up some scheme, just be like, yeah, sure, Memphis, you're going to be voted off in 6th place because nobody really wants you in this alliance anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, she knows that he was a little bit, pissed off with that whole Ian thing, so I'm sure she probably feels there's a little bit of a bridge to mend.
Finally, Ian and Nicole, they talked a little bit tonight about how some of their plan moving forward may be, okay, well, maybe we'll nominate Kayser in a pawn. And by the way, even Davon and Bayley talked about maybe nominating Kayser if they won HOH. So just Kayser, you gotta win HOH.
Put your hard hats on, everybody. Kayser's probably in trouble.
And, Ian and Nicole, they may backdoor Bayley if the situation comes up and Kayser wins the veto or something like that.
Yeah, and here it is again, that conversation that happened earlier with Nicole and Danny, where they are basically going to target all the rest of the women in the house.
Can we have an America's field trip? Can we have an America's, I don't know what, can we have an America's HOH? Like, can we have something?
Oh man, that'd be good.
We're all full hypocritical right now in the position of, well, not all of us, but production interference, I think, is going to be welcomed by a lot of people at this point.
Yep.
We are
us
all
over here.
We are all getting almost as delirious as maybe David is at points with some of what he's doing. Maybe David's not delirious. Maybe David is really secretly the savant of all of this.
Maybe.
Maybe David's got the tinfoil hat on.
No, I think maybe he's just feeling a little secure. He's feeling himself a little bit here.
What do you guys make of the day in David and all of this insanity? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Because the past 8 hours have just been completely bonkers on the feed. So let us know in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.